Hello, thank you for joining my podcast today. Today, I will be uh, talking about a very important subject, which is how to write a CV or a resume. And it's a very important subject because I've seen a lot of people, a lot of talented people, prospective people with ability to achieve great things, but they lack the skill to put a well organized and strategic CV or resume. Before I start, I would like to give some introductory definitions so as to give good clarification about the differences and the common mistakes that exist with respect to curriculum vitae or resume. First of all, I want to describe or state the differences between curriculum vitae and which is CV, and a resume. The fact is that there is no difference between a CV and a resume. They are just mere semantics. If you check your dictionary, CV or curriculum vitae, as is pronounced, is the British English. So the British call it CV or curriculum vitae, while the Americans that often like to be special use the word resume. So whether you use resume or CV, you are saying the same thing in essence. But basically, there are two types of CV or resume, and they are the professional and then the academic. The professional CV is usually used for employment, and it's usually shorter in length. It's usually between 2 or 3 pages, 1 to 3 pages maximum for professional CV, and it kind of highlights your qualifications, your work background, and other things that help to give a good picture of your history. But for the academic CV, it's usually lengthier because it contains extra details that are not often included in the professional CV. So it's usually used to secure admissions or apply for an academic role. So if you're applying for a job in the academic field, you are not going to use a professional CV. But in every other place, every other form of professional employment, you use your professional CV, which is the shorter version, between 1 to 3 pages. But for in an academic role, or if you're applying for admission, you use an academic CV. So that's the differences between a professional and academic CV. So what are the common mistakes that people do when writing their CV? Especially speaking to my friends and family in Nigeria, there are certain information that are not required on your CV. So you're not supposed to include it on your CV except the employer or the advertiser explicitly states that you should include it on your CV. And these are the information. Number 1 is your sex or gender. It shouldn't be on your CV. Number 2 is your date of birth. Number 3 is your state of origin. Nigerians like including that on their CV. Number 4 is your marital status. These are information that are not necessary. In fact, everything about your biodata title, apart from your name, is not needed on your CV. And I'm going to describe how a CV should be from the beginning to the end, and describing the differences between a professional academic CV based on what they contain and how they are organized. And I want you to listen attentively because it will be helpful to some people. So for a professional CV, this is often how you organize a professional CV. The first thing that should be on your CV is your name, your full name. Not initials, full name. So my name is David Aluga. The first thing on the CV will be David Aluga. That's my full name. If you have any prefix or suffix that you may want to include on your name, you can include, like some titles or suffix at the end of your name, you can include. And after that, just the line below your name, should include your address. You don't have to give your full address. You can give your postcode and the city you live, or the street name and the city you live, but you can be specific to give the house number, street name, and the city. And after the address, the next thing that should follow is your email, right? Your email and then your phone number. And after that, the last thing that should be on that line maybe should be your LinkedIn address, a link that will show the recruiter or whoever is viewing the CV your LinkedIn profile. So this is how it should be structured. Your name first, and below your name is your address, email and phone number, and then your LinkedIn. And just after that should be what is called your professional summary. Your professional summary is a paragraph that summarizes every information contained on your CV. So if I want to know about you within a short period of time, maybe within 1 minute or 30 seconds, that professional summary is what summarizes what is contained on the entire CV. And it's usually written in a professional way. It's like an executive summary or abstract of your CV. It's not in the first person. It's usually written in the third person, right? So you don't say, I did this, I did that. No, it's usually in the third person, your professional summary. And just below your professional summary are your expertise or your skills. That means the different areas that you specialize in. For example, if you are in the health sector, you can say things like healthcare management, project management, patient, care, customer service or client service. You can say data analysis. You can say regulatory affairs, administration. These are different skill sets that you apply or you have applied on the job. So you can list all those areas of expertise just below your professional summary. And after the areas of expertise or expertise, you go into your experience. And there are different types of experiences, right? One is a professional experience. And this is the stark difference between an academic CV and a professional CV. So in a professional CV, it contains your professional experience. But for an academic CV, it contains, in addition, your academic experience like teaching experience, research experience, and volunteer and leadership experience, right? These are usually put in different sections of the CV. They are not put together. They are put in different sections. So you can put professional experience, teaching experience, research experience, leadership and volunteer experience, and even additional experience like internship and industrial training and other trainings you undertook just to get your qualifications, like the internship I've mentioned. So and placement. So you can add additional experience like internship, placement, industrial training, in addition to other types of experience. But for a professional CV, it's usually, experience, which is professional experience. And how do you put your experience? You put your experience by each role you have occupied, right? So the first thing is the role, the organization where the role was, including the location of the organization, and then the duration of employment, right? So let's say I was a pharmacist at Federal Medical Center, Jalingo, between 2021 to 2023. I'll put pharmacists, Federal Medical Center, Jalingo, between January 2021 to December 2023. It's best to start, with the month and the year. You don't need to include the day, but the month and the year, from the beginning and the month and the year to the end. So after that, you put your duties and achievement in that role. What are the differences? Duties are your responsibility, the task that is involved in the job, what you did on the job. Like if I dispense medicines to patients on that road, I would say, dispense medicine to patient as part of my duties, right? But achievement is different. Achievement is what did you achieve on that role. So by doing what you did, what did you achieve? They are not the same. Most people tend to overemphasize their duties and neglect their achievement. But the recruiter is looking at your achievements. Don't say that I did this, I did that, I did that. What did you achieve after you did that? What was the outcome or the result of that? So if I say I dispense drug to patient, I can say dispense drug to patients, to enhance their, healthcare standard. And if possible, I should give the measure of that outcome. For instance, if you work in the sales, you can say you did something, and because of that, it led to certain percentage increase in sales, or it relates to increase in clients, patronage. So state what you did as a duty, and then in the same sentence, state what you achieved after you did that. So don't just mention what you did on the job, that I did this, I did that. Don't just emphasize your duties, also speak to your achievement on the role. So that's how you write your experience, whether it's professional experience, whether it's teaching or research experience, whether it's leadership or volunteer experience. You state your duty and what you achieve, after doing that duty. So after that, after the experience section, the next thing is the education history. In the education history, there is also differences between the professional and the academic CV. In the professional CV, you just give the degree obtained, the institution and the year, right? And that's all. But for an academic, it's not enough. You have to go in detail. You give the name of the degree or the qualification you obtained, the institution where it's obtained, when you started the program, the month and the year you started the program, and the month and the year you entered the program. And below that, you have to state what was your, final result. What was your grade? Whether it's first class, second class, 2-1, 2-2, whatever. You have to state it. And if possible, state the title of your final year project or thesis, master's thesis or dissertation. You say that the final year project or master's thesis title, and then you state the title. Some even include the name of their supervisor in an academic CV. You don't need to go put all this detail in a professional CV because they just want to know your qualification, right? You just state I obtained Bachelor of Pharmacy degree for Ahmadu Bello University in 2016. That's all for a professional CV. But for an academic, it's not enough. Bachelor of Pharmacy, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Nigeria. From this month and this year, I started and I finished on this month and this year. And below that, this is the grade I obtained, and this is the title of my final year project, and if possible, the name of your supervisor for each of the qualification, whether it's master's, bachelor, secondary school, O-level qualification. That's how you do it. So after the academic history, the next thing is your honors and awards. In your honors and awards, you are trying to show the recruiter or whoever is reviewing your CV what you have achieved on the roles that you have, taken. And when you are listing your honors and award, you give the year you obtained the award, usually the month and the year, the title of the award or honor, and then the awarding body. That's how you give it. You don't just say that I was given an award of excellence. No. You can say in March 2025, I was given award of excellence by social organization, maybe by NAFDAC, right? You can state that. So that's how you list honors and awards. And try and be as comprehensive as possible in listing your honors and awards. And after your honors and awards, you can include your professional certifications and courses. All the courses and training you have gone to, that are outside of your academic, your core academic training. You can list them. Certification and courses, like even licensing you have obtained, right? You follow the same process with in with the honors and awards. You give them once you obtain the qualification, the title of the qualification, and the awarding body of that qualification or professional certification, right? And for an academic CV, you have to go further to include things like publications. If possible, you classify the different publication, whether it's a journal publication, a blog article, a book chapter, a registered protocol, or whatever, a patent. You have to list them in categories. You don't just mix all of them in different categories, but with the heading publications, because it's part of your achievement. And that's usually included in an academic CV, applying for an academic role or admission. And then last but not the least, if you are asked to include references or referees, then you include your referees. But if they don't ask, don't include. Your CV should not include referees. Referees are usually available on request. So you can say referees available on request, or don't just include it. If they need referees, they'll ask you when you're filling the form or in the advertisement. They will say include referees in your CV. And for capturing your publication, there is a way you do. There are different referencing styles for publications, right? But the most important thing is to be consistent. So if you decide to go by the APA, American Psychological Association style, or Harvard referencing style, or any of the, there are different types of Vancouver, whatever referencing style you have chosen, be consistent. So all through your publications, use the same referencing style so that there won't be, inconsistency. And I believe that with what I've said, you have learned a few things. Thank you, and see you in my next episode. If you have any question, put it down in the comment section and I'll see if I will be able to answer or direct you to the relevant sources. Thank you. God bless.